Daraj Pandey, Salah in or Salah out? To be honest, for me, Salah is still someone that I want to have on my side. I've talked about it so many times. Like, some of you may get so tired of me talking about Salah, but total attempts wise, Salah's still head and shoulders above the rest. Shots inside the box, Salah is head and shoulders above the rest. Big chances total, head and shoulders above the rest. Shots on target, I'm saying head and shoulders, sometimes he's only 1 or 2 better than everyone else, but he's still the best. Now, where he's dropping off is shot conversion, goal accuracy, stuff like that. But if we also go to stuff like expected goals, is he just having a bad patch? Or if we go expected goals, Salah at 2.84 expected goals. Pogba is at 2.7. Mane is at 1.96. So right now, he's not doing as well as you'd expect. Expected goal involvement, 3.68 is expected goal involvement. So he is doing lower than is expected on that front. But Salah is the one, and if you don't know what expected goals and expected assists and expected goal involvement mean, is because Opta's been going around for so long, Opta stats can be used to get what's called expected goals and expected assists. And the way it works is depending on where the chance is from, if it's one-on-one, if it's in the 6-yard box, if it's a tap-in, if it's from distance, how often goals are scored from certain areas of the pitch. An expected goal score can be given, or rating can be given to each chance. And from that, players can be given an expected goal rate regarding the chances they've had. And then you can see how many they're scoring compared to how many they're expected to score. So what you can take from that is you can take, okay, he's been getting the chances and not been scoring them, or he's been getting the chances and scoring them, or scoring more often than he should. But also you're seeing what kind of chances he's getting. So high expected goal shows you that they're getting good chances, and then you can see how many they're converting. A low expected goal means they're not getting good chances, even if they're getting lots of attempts on goal. They might be poor positioned attempts. And then you can try and gather whether they're just on a really good bit of form, if they're a really clinical finisher and scoring good goals as well as the normal ones they should be scoring, or if they're out of form and not scoring and not really clinical in front of goals. So a lot can be read from that. What I'm taking is Salah is, from what we saw last year, a good player that can score good goals. So with his expected goals still high, I think he will pick up in terms of goals. Jamal Rice, to be honest, I think some players put way too much into expected goals, but I do think it is a useful tool. But I just think you can't just base everything off of that. But I do now use it more than I did last season, but I'm not relying on it, because I think relying on any one stat is stupid. I think you need to... I think the main thing to do is watch as many games as possible. I really think if you watch a football game, you probably get even more from watching the game or on those players playing than you do from these stats, because stats can be deceiving. If you ever done statistics or mathematics, stats can be used in a deceiving way. I could very easily make certain players look better if I decided to not give you all the information, and sometimes I may even do that without meaning to. For instance, I could quite easily say someone like Deeney right now is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So joint 8th-ish for attempts on goal. And he's being beaten by the likes of Raul Jimenez, Lukaku, Benteke, Arnautovic, Williams, Callum Wilson, Ings, Mitrovic and Aguero. Do I believe in any way that Deeney is a worse option than Christian Benteke? No. But if I only told you attempts on goal, Benteke beats Troy Deeney. Benteke beats Harry Kane, Firmino, Lacazette, Morata. If I don't mention minutes played, Lacazette is even worse off than Troy Deeney as far as his total attempts. But I try and give as good a picture on as whole a picture as possible. I do suggest that if you can, you look at stats yourself as well as listen to advice. Get as much information as possible, but statistics can be used to deceive people. And if I only talked about certain statistics, then certain players are going to look better than others. Like if I only looked at attempts on goal, Alonso is a much better option than Benjamin Mendy. But then if I only looked at chances created, Mendy's a better option than Alonso. So you have to take as much on board as possible. And I think expected goals is a tool that you can use along with shot accuracy, goal conversion, total attempts on target, all of that stuff. And at the end of the day, unless you're looking at them yourself, I could say one thing, you could misread what I said, or you could take what I said at face value, and I could have completely missed something that I've not looked at. Gas also says, I think, and I agree with him, watching a player is the most important part of it. I think you can do a lot more with the stats if you've watched a player play than you can without watching the player play, if that makes sense. So, like, Aguero's looked sharp, but he's not really returned that great apart from that one game. But he's looked like he could return. Now, you could look at the stats and not necessarily see that he's looked like he could return. And then you've got Aubameyang, you could look at his stats and go, oh, maybe he just was unlucky. Whereas I feel like Aubameyang's wasted some very, very good opportunities. So is not really someone I want to jump on because he doesn't look in form at the moment. A lot of people talking about Salah's fixtures. I get that. And I've said this on the Wildcat stream as well. The only player I think is worth bringing in for Mohamed Salah right now is Eden Hazard. If you are bringing anyone else in for Salah to save money, you are literally just doing it to save money. Maybe I consider Mane as well. But if you mention anyone else to me to bring in for Salah as a midfielder that is not Mane and is not Hazard, I think one, you're either risking rotation, or two, you're bringing in a player that cannot score the kind of points that Salah, Hazard or Mane could potentially score over the next couple of fixtures. But I said it and I'll always say it, Salah, Mane, Liverpool, Firmino can score a lot of goals against the big sides. Just because they're playing a big side doesn't mean goals won't be scored. They might not win, but you've got to understand, in a game of football, sometimes it is easier to score against a team that's defence isn't sitting back and trying to defend for their life. Clubs like Newcastle, clubs like Cardiff, clubs like any lower league side, or lower table side, is going to defend for their lives against the kind of pace and attacking talent that Liverpool have. So there's not going to be much space behind, and Salah, Mane thrive on space behind the defence. As soon as they play a defence that gives them that space behind, you saw it against Roma, they are going to score lots of goals. They're more likely to get that space against Spurs than they are against a side that are just going to go, you know what, we need to stop Mohamed Salah and Mane scoring. So for me, when you're bringing in a player like Salah, you're bringing in a player like Hazard, yes, good fixtures is a plus, but you should be bringing them in because they're the type of player that can score in any game, not just because they can score in good fixtures, because the defence may be more solid in a good fixture than in a bad fixture. Now, reverse that, do I think defensively, when you're picking a defender, do good fixtures help? Yes, if they're playing a side that don't score many goals, defenders are a lot more likely to keep a clean sheet. Especially if they're completely dominating, controlling the game like, say, Man City can, then again, the defender's more likely to keep a clean sheet and is going to have that freedom to go forward. So, for me, fixtures is something you really focus on for defenders. If defender has a good run of fixtures, fantastic. Attacking players, if you're paying the big bucks for an attacking player, they should be capable of scoring against anyone. Now, when you go lower down the budget, then again, fixtures come into play. If you've got, say, a player like Ryan Fraser, he's more likely to score in the game where it's competitive, Bournemouth have a chance and are going for the win, than if they're being dominated by a big side. So again, fixtures come in for the lower budget, but for premium players, the fixtures really shouldn't matter. They should be capable of scoring against anyone. Kane scored against Man United in August. Was it in August? I think it was in August. So I don't think he's regularly scored against Man United. He doesn't regularly score in August, but he did it this year. So please don't just look at a premium price player and think fixtures are too tough, I'm going to drop him. Now defensively, again, reverse it. A hard fixture, Liverpool against Spurs, I see Spurs scoring because the way Liverpool play, because the way Spurs play. But again, Robertson may get some attacking returns. I wouldn't take him out for that, but there you go.